Outrage like this has simmered across the UK since the death of Sarah Everard, raped and murdered by a London Metropolitan Police officer almost 2 years ago. Now, news that this other serving policeman has admitted to 24 counts of rape has left Britons, especially women, questioning whether they can trust the very people who are supposed to keep them safe. Patsy Stevenson was among those manhandled by officers from the UK's biggest force at a protest mourning Sarah Everard in 2021.
It feels like we're all screaming out, can you just change before something like this happens? And now it's happened again.
Both of these policemen had a history of misconduct towards women, and as diplomatic protection officers, they also had access to guns, a rarity within British law enforcement.
I'm sorry, and I know we've let women down. I mean, I think we've failed over 2 decades to be as ruthless as we ought to be in guarding our own integrity.
The Met says it's investigating 1,071 officers involved in 1,633 different cases over a decade. Commissioner Mark Rowley has complained he doesn't have the power to sack them. That's little comfort to the women who reported the latest offending officer repeatedly, both before and during his more than 20-year career with the police, to deaf ears. Again and again he was vetted and given a green light. Del Babu spent 30 years with the Met Police and was once head of the firearms unit.
I have turned down people when I was a police officer who I did not think were appropriate. Despite people knowing about this individual, they still allowed him to become a firearms officer.
Why? Is that just an internal protection culture that's prevalent?
No, you've got multiple failures in leadership, in making proper decisions. I remember on one occasion being appalled when a detective sergeant had taken a young constable to a call, pulled up in a side area and sexually assaulted her. I wanted him sacked, but he was protected by other officers and he was given a warning. I asked my daughters to text me whenever they go out.
Their dad was a police officer for many years. Do you think they trust the police?
My daughters don't trust the police.
Polling commissioned by a government watchdog in the aftermath of Sarah Everard's murder suggested that less than half of the British population had a positive view of the nation's police forces. Other surveys since then indicate that that confidence has only fallen further. Campaigners like Harriet Wistrich want government inquiries underway to have legal powers, to bring in changes to better protect women, and have filed a super complaint in the courts.
There is a culture of misogyny within the Metropolitan Police. Clearly, they have to make some very radical changes in order to sort of really encourage women to come forward, because many women won't come forward.
Transparency will also be key, but some say taking more officers to court might not cut it.
I don't personally think they're going to change in the way that everyone thinks they are. I think they really need to start from scratch.
Until that happens, Patsy says turning to Britain's police for her and millions more will not always be preferable, or indeed possible. Nina Dos Santos, CNN, London.